I'm Brooke Cormier. I'm a full-time artist and also small business owner, and today I'm going to show you how I keep my together. A little bit about me. I've been painting full-time for 8 years and I'm basically a one-woman show. I handle everything from art making, packaging, shipping,
website maintenance, bookkeeping, social media marketing, content creation.
It's a lot to manage and it can be really overwhelming, but this year I finally came up with a system that actually works for me. Not only has it increased my productivity, but it's also given me this feeling of control over my life, which is really a blessing. So I would like to share this with you today because chances are if you're watching this, you're also looking for a better way to keep your ducks in a row, and perhaps this will help. So let's get into it. My entire business lives
on Notion.
Notion is a productivity and note-taking app, and it basically serves as a single space where you can think, write, plan, manage projects, and run an entire company. And that is precisely what I use it for. So let's have a look, shall we? So here we have come to the home page of my digital studio, and one of the first things that you see here is my main goals over here, and it was important for me to have this right on the home page just because I want to be reminded of what I'm working towards every day. Within each one of these pages, I've really defined what the goals are, why I'm pursuing them, how I'm going to pursue them, the deadline, and basically the ongoing projects related to that goal. Which brings me to the projects panel, which is right here. The projects database is definitely one of the things that I use the most, and that's because it's a place where all of my ongoing projects live. So for example, we have the title of the project over here, we have the goal that it's associated with, and I wanted to include this because sometimes when I'm thinking of a project, if it doesn't associate to a main goal that I have, then I have to second guess why I should be pursuing it. Over here is the due dates, and all of the projects are ordered according to the due date. So whatever is due the soonest makes it to the top of the list, and whatever is due later on is at the bottom of the list. And over here is the idea source, and I'm gonna explain that a little bit later. What's nice is that in the project panel, you can also have sub-projects. So for example, my mushroom series, I had an exhibition. So in here, I have all the details related to that exhibition. And I have a limited edition print release and calendars, which I never ended up doing, but maybe next year. And once I'm finished a project, I can just drag it right into the finished projects folder and just keep my table nice and clean here, and I can also access those projects later on if I need to. When you scroll down on the home page, you'll find the habit tracker, and this is basically to encourage me to have better habits. I have 4 buttons here, so exercise, drink water, take my vitamins, and journal. And once I'm finished doing one of those things for the day, I can simply click one of these buttons and it will automatically show up here. And once I've clicked all of them, I have this full circle and I can give myself a pat on the back. There's the week view, and there's also a month view, and there's also the streak view. So the streak view is then you can really get an idea of how well you're doing. So for example, I'm pretty good at taking my vitamins and not so good at journaling. I prefer to just keep it on the week view though, because it's nice and clean. When you keep scrolling on the home page, then I also have my calendar, and on my calendar I like to keep all of my personal stuff, but also some professional stuff too. So definitely one of my other most viewed and used things on my template is the weekly planner. So this is also one of my favorite pages because it's so pretty, but basically here is the entire year. It's categorized into quarters and then months. So it is currently the month of December, and here is the week. So let's just go into that. So here is my weekly planner. At the top I always have a cover photo, and I've kind of populated that with all of my artwork and the month just because it looks very nice. Maybe I'll give you a little sneak peek of that now.
Nice.
So here we have the dates. It's December 9th to 15th, and I always like to start my weeks on Mondays. I know some people like to start it on Sundays, but for me, Monday is like the first day of the working week, and so that's what I'm starting with. So that's how I've organized mine. At the very top, I have my priorities, and these are the things that I need to get done that week. And I basically figure out what my priorities are by looking at the projects panel and seeing what my ongoing projects are, what due date is coming up soon, what I need to get done, and from there I can write my priorities out. And then it's my day-to-day to-do list. So I'll say, okay, my priority this week is to film and edit the Notion tour. When am I gonna do the filming? When am I gonna do this? Blah, blah, blah. And I write it all down here. And when we scroll all the way down, I can also see my calendar, and this is always in the same page so that if something comes up here, I can write it on my calendar and it will automatically populate throughout my Notion template. I also have a little artwork over here, which is nice, and then I have my quick access, so if I need to get to anything else quickly, it's there. I've already cleared the rest of the year in preparation for 2025, but I will show you how I kind of create each week. So at the beginning of every month, I like to just add all 4 weeks by pressing this button. Once you press the button, this page will be made and you can go in. There's the artwork for June, and you can put in the date. So for example, it's the 7th to the 14th that week. And then you can go back and just, keep adding weeks so that everything is there and you're ready to start the month. We're back on the home page now, and I'm going to show you the inspiration catcher. And this is basically something I came up with in attempts to not let anything that sparks inspiration slip through the cracks. So that happens a lot when you're like browsing the internet, or you come across an interesting book, or you do whatever, and you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but then you kind of forget about it. So basically this is a place where I put all of my little nuggets of inspiration. So for example, here are some earrings that I found on Pinterest that are cool, just like random stuff. Like they haven't really fleshed out full ideas yet, but when I do start kind of coming up with a more realized idea with this inspiration, then I can put it in the idea nursery. And so I will show you how that works. So for example, I see these stone earrings, these clay earrings. I think I want to start making a new jewelry line. So then I would go into ideas created. I can write jewelry design, and I can add that. And here we have come up with a new page. So here I can write, maybe for my jewelry designs, I want to do 10 new designs, all natural stones, yada, 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 yada. Just all the ideas there. And then when we go into the idea nursery, here is where that idea now lives. So I can now relate that back to the stone earrings, so I can reference that. I can also reference the clay earrings. So all of that is kind of kept in one space. I can decide if this is relating to an ongoing goal. So yes, maybe it is personal artistic growth. And once I kind of come up with more ideas and whatever, and I'm ready to actually take it to the project stage, that's when we scroll down here and I have our ongoing projects panel right here. I can create a new project. Let's call it
B. Cormier Jewelry Drop.
It is related to the personal artistic growth. We're gonna give it a due date. Let's say it's in February 2025. And then we are going to say that the idea source comes from jewelry designs in the idea nursery. And that way, when you start a project, you have a way of kind of tracking things back, like, okay, where did this idea come from? Where is the inspiration behind it? And it's all kind of in one place. Next, we have the journal. So if we go into the journal section, honestly, I don't use the journal that much. It is really nice to have when I'm on the go and I do need to like write down some thoughts, but I do prefer using a physical journal. So if we want to do a new entry, we can just name it. I'll say Random Wednesday. And then we can now open that, write out whatever journal entry you want. Let's date it, and we're going to decide how we're feeling. And today, honestly, it's a meh. I'm pretty stressed. There's a lot going on. But I think that this is something that's good to look back on and be like, okay, how am I doing overall? Is it a good week? Is it a bad week? And I can kind of look back into those entries and be like, what was going on? Why was I feeling this way? I have these here too, in case you had a spark of inspiration while you were writing your journal. You could then come up with a new idea, just put that in here. And same thing with Idea Nursery, if your journal entry is related to an ongoing project, and if, for example, you are thinking about your main goals, it's kind of nice to be able to see at a glance what was happening in that entry on that given day. So back to the home page, we then have the notes. And for me, notes is literally a place where you can just put anything. But honestly, I usually use the note section to just like write out draft emails because I've sent way too many emails before they were ready. So that's what notes is just basically whatever I want to write whenever, you know. Here we have the commissions page, and I have basically filled this in with a mock-up because I need to keep my client's information safe. But this is how it works. I have my client name here, the email, the commission details, so that's the size painting, whatever, the price of the painting, when the deadline is. I have a payment status thing here, so we have, you know, deposit paid, pending payment, or paid in full. Then the artwork status, so whether or not you've started, it's in progress or complete. Here is the contract section where you are able to upload a file, so the contract for your commission, and here is whether or not it has been delivered. And when I click on the name, I can then go into the commission project. So here I've written the shipping address, the to-do list for what I still need to do, the painting description, and I've got visuals here. So here is the reference photo and then also some inspiration. And this has been a great way to just keep everything organized and in one spot, and you can see everything right at a glance. So here we've come to the finances section, and this is where I keep all of my income and expenses related to my art business. And I will show you how this works by giving you an example for next year in 2025. I click this filter button. I then specify the month and the year that I am inputting the information into. So I'm going to say January 2025. I then click new page and I can type in what it is I made money from. Let's say I was paid on January 10th and the amount was $500. So once we go down here, this is the monthly summary, and you can see my income is $500. And I just have to make sure that this is on the right year, so it's on 2025. And if I go over here, I do the same thing, so I basically press that. I make sure that we're in January 25. I'm going to say I purchased some paintbrushes this month. I purchased them on the 2nd of January and they cost $25. So then when I go back down here, you can see income $500, expenses $25, and then you can see your savings and also my savings rate, which is 95%. And that's really nice to see. At the end of the year, you can kind of look over and see, okay, what was my savings rate month to month and how am I doing financially? On the home page, I like to have this button here, and this will take me exactly to the week that we are currently in. And every week I change this. So if I'm, for example, going to be in this week, then I would basically just copy this URL, go to my digital studio, I would highlight this and just change the link over here to that. And so now whenever I come in at the beginning of the week, I click it and it'll then take me directly to this week. And I like that because it's just less clicking. So yes, you have to copy the URL, which is a little bit annoying, but you only have to do it once a week. And then every time you come in, you just click it. It takes you right to the week that you're in and you can see all your priorities, all your to-do lists, everything in one space. So that's it. That's how I manage my art business. Honestly, making this template this year has helped me so much. I am way less distracted day to day because I know exactly what I'm supposed to be working on. Everything is laid out for me. Before, I used to use Google Docs for this and Notes app for that, and I had a notepad over here and a calendar over there, and it was just so hard to keep track of everything. But now everything just lives in my digital studio and it's so organized and I'm never confused. I can see the progress I'm making, which is so motivating, and I'm just feeling really good about what's going on here. And I'm actually looking forward to next year because I know I'm gonna slay, because we're so organized. Anyway, I know that some of you were interested in the template in the Week in My Life video where it made its debut, and I was having a few questions, so I'm happy to tell you that I have officially made it available for purchase. Notion is an amazing tool and it's free, but it can be a bit overwhelming because it's so powerful. So if you don't want to start completely from scratch and you like the way that I've organized my own business here, then you can click the link in the description and get started with my template and create your own digital studio. And be prepared to be born again into a life of productivity in organization. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or email me at studio@brookecormier.com. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm Brooke Cormier and I'll see you next time.